That way, without having you buy some random wine off of the shelf, you can try all these different wines for the price of just, your prize bottle, basically, which is, 10, 15, 20 bucks.
The millennial generation is as follows.
Welcome to
Surrounded by Idiots
Radio Podcast.
If you know there is something more for you out there and you're looking to find it, here's where you're going to get the tools and tips and tricks to figure that out. This is the Surrounded by Idiots Radio Podcast. It's Tony Dufresne, PhD, back with you again. Really good to be back. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit late this week because of the holiday stuff's kind of screwed me up. But I have a really fun show this time. Not that the other ones aren't fun, hopefully. But this one, it's a little bit of a different take on stuff, and I'm going to go through how to throw a really fun wine party. And the reason I'm doing this is because I've done this and I've thrown these wine parties for years now, and everybody absolutely loves them. And it is a way to kind of bring the holidays together. And I talk a lot about finding your tribe and a lot about bringing the people in that you really kind of want to hang out with instead of having to go during Christmas and like I talked to a couple weeks ago about the holiday thing. And having to go someplace and hang around people that you almost are forced to hang around. Any other day of the year, you wouldn't be over at their house. This is a great way to get a bunch of friends together and friends of friends, because interestingly enough, a lot of times, at least half of the people that come to these parties are new to the party format and are just new to the whole kind of the group thing. And it is so much fun, and it is so easy to put on, and everybody loves these parties, and I'll show you why. So basically, it's a wine contest party. Now, I'm going to name off a number of things and materials needed and kind of instructions on how to do this, and I'm going to put those on the javabud.com, the link on the website, if you go and you kick into the podcast there, or YouTube. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, I'll have it all listed out on the video, and then you'll be able to go and get this stuff. Materials are practically nothing. It's probably $10 tops, maybe. And you just have to have your place. And here's the things that are involved in this. It's kind of for a small gathering. It's for like 10 to 25 people, because you don't want too many bottles of wine. Basically, what the whole concept is that everybody brings 2 bottles of wine under $20, and one of them is a contest bottle. Now, the contest is whatever you set it up to be. It's easier to do red wine, because you don't have to refrigerate them, and you'll see why that would be an issue. So I've just done reds, and you can do the contest and you do different vintages, which means I've done a couple Pinot parties, a Zin Cab, Malbec, red blends, wines from the old world, wines from Australia and New Zealand. Also, you can do whatever you want to do. I would suggest at the beginning, if you're going to start this up, do a Pinot, because Pinot's kind of the easiest wine and most people like it. Or a blend, because a lot of people like the blend stuff. Make the bottles under $20, and you'll see why a little bit later. And it's reasonable too, because you're buying 2 bottles, right? Everybody has to bring 2. Or a couple maybe just bring 2 if they, split it, But one is the contest bottle that we're going to put in the contest. The other one is a prize bottle, and you'll see where those go. So you need about 10 to 25 people, and you're going to pick a vintage, and I would suggest red over white, because you'll see why, because of the paper bag. $20 or less and 2 bottles, the contest and the prize bottle, right? Here are the materials that are needed for the wine party. You're going to need, of course, the wine. This is my sample bottle for today. You're going to need paper bags. You're going to need blank stickers, just like these little Avery file folder stickers, blank stickers. You're going to need pens, lots of pens, at least 1 pen per person, as well as 3x5 cards, at least 1 3x5 card per person. And you're going to need a thick Sharpie, like this one, just so somebody can read it, because you're going to put numbers on the bottles. You need a wine opener. I had my wine opener here. As a pass, bartender and server, I like the slingshot because it's super fast, because you're going to be opening up 10 to 20 bottles of wine. And 2 wine openers are even better, because then you can have a friend of yours when you're prepping this whole thing to help you out, and it goes faster. Let's see. You're going to need chips and dip. Or sometimes we even do desserts. I have people bring stuff, and we do the crock pot dip and stuff. So it's just to have some snacks there because people get hammered if they don't eat. Super hammered at these things. They can. Oyster crackers are a necessity. And get those little plastic bowls, or if you have little ramekins or just little bowls, because you're going to need to put the oyster crackers at every tasting station, sort of as a palate cleanser. You're going to need bottles of water. Usually I get the small ones because people don't usually drink all the big ones, or they leave them places. So if you get the small plastic bottles of water, and you're going to need a couple starter bottles, because when people arrive for the party, they're going to be milling around and stuff. And as much as you tell everybody, and you're going to have to do this, that it's a contest and it starts at a certain time, people are on their own time. I have a number of people that I call it, whatever their name is, time, because they kind of arrive when they want to or when they can. So you try to stress the fact that they've got to get there at the latest. I usually start about 7. 7's a good time. And so, but sometimes they won't, and so you need a couple starter bottles to just be open to people have little sips and to kind of get into the mood and stuff. And wine glasses, of course. Got my wine glasses. The wine glasses, I would suggest not using the plastic ones. I've been to a couple parties where they had the plastic. Because I would love to say this is my idea. It's not. I learned this a long time ago, and I thought it was so great. I just continued on the process. But I went to IKEA, or actually my buddy went to IKEA, and bought a whole bunch of these just basic wine glasses. They're super cheap, or if you can find them for a couple bucks each, which you can around a lot of places, then you can get a whole bunch. You can put them underneath or someplace, and then you can break them out. Because you're going to need, if you got 20 people, they're going to need at least 20 glasses, because people aren't going to bring their own glasses. So you got to have some wine glasses. And let's see, you got starter bottles, I got that. You're going to need a box or a wine carrier, because the prize bottles will go to the first, the second, and the third place winners. And third place winner gets one bottle, but the other ones get multiple. And to help them carry them out, you're going to need at least a box or one of those little wine carrier tote things, so you can give that to them as they take their prize bottles. And then wine party music. Got to have some music. I would suggest... and depending upon what your age grouping is that you are having at the party, what works good is like Frank Sinatra stuff, Rat Pack stuff, kind of a cool, not the cool jazzy part. I mean, I like Oscar Peterson, Guaraldi, old school kind of jazzy stuff, just background stuff. So it doesn't interrupt anything, but it's still kind of cool to listen to. That's always worked at all the parties. Of course, you have to have a place to have it. And I have had about 75% of the parties here at my place or at my old place, and then other people have hosted it. Just make sure you have enough room. And I don't have a very big place here in Scottsdale, and it's probably 12 or 1,300 square feet or something. But it's got room. It's got a big room, so you can have you need at least 2 to 3 stations. Different stations, wine tasting stations, because you want to spread people out. You don't want them all around this big table in the kitchen, because that's kind of waste the whole space in the whole area. You want to throw them in. I mean, a couple times I actually put a wine tasting in the second bedroom. So they had to go into the second bedroom. They had its own music going on and the whole bit. So it kind of worked, but it was a hassle to set up, so I stopped doing that. And I've actually done it on the patio when it's warm here in Scottsdale, which is about 364 days out of the year. But sometimes it does get a little cold and we bring it in. But at least 3 stations to spread people out. All right, so that's the materials and kind of the setup. And what you're going to do is you're going to have 2 people that are going to be the organizers. Usually it's myself and a buddy of mine, or even my daughter would help me out. And we're going to be the ones that are going to be, as people come in, it gets very chaotic very quickly. But as they come in, I'm in charge of the contest bottle. So I ask everybody when they come in, hey, let me have your contest bottle. I take a look at it. And you immediately have to put the sticker, this little sticker here, on the back of the bottle, just the back of the bottle, and write their name. Write their name on that sticker so you know who brought what. Because it gets really confusing really quickly when 4 or 5 people are coming in at the same time and they're all giving you bottles. So make sure that you really have to focus on getting that done, because there's been some mishaps. So that's the one kind of the step that is really super important in this. So you keep things flowing. And then the second person involved in the organizing would take the prize bottle and they would put it to the side, and they would say hey to them, and they would kind of to direct them over to the appetizers or the water or whatever. And so what I would do is, being the organizer of the contest bottles, I would take their bottle, I would put the label on the back and write their name. Then I would cut the foil off, which you have to do right then and there. So you then cut the foil off the top, just so there's an exposed ring around the top, so you can open it later. Do not open it at that point. Just cut the foil off. You got to wrap up the bottle in the paper bag. So you take your paper bag, and most of the time, the bottles are pretty uniform in size, fairly, or shape. There was one time when somebody brought one in, and the bottle was super funky. It was like some Italian thing, some crazy-ass, weird, like, globe oval thing, which kind of blew because everybody knew what it was. But most of the time, bottles are bottles, right? I mean, there's little variations here and there, but you can't tell once you get the sack on. So you put the bottle in the paper bag like this. Now what's going to happen is, most of the time, there's going to be some space up here where it's going to be exposed. And you don't want to have anything exposed up into the rim, because sometimes you can tell what bottle's what by the color. Like around here, like the red around here, or if it's purple, or if there's designs or what. So you take the paper bag and got it around the bottle. You twist the paper bag so it's nice and tight against the bottle like this. So you twist it. Then you grab your duct tape, and it's gonna not look the greatest with the silver duct tape. I tried it with a different duct tape. I found like green, and I found the rose color or the champagne color, whatever it was. Then people were just hassling me for using different colors of duct tape. So I said, all right, then fuck you. I'll just go back to the original duct tape. So that's what I did. So you take the original duct tape, or the duct tape, and then you just take your strips off, and then you wrap it the same way I kind of did the bottle here. You just wrap it around till the duct tape's all the way up to the top. So you can't see any of the color around the rim of the bottle. Okay, so you just see really just the very, very top of the cork. That's all you're going to see once you get the duct tape on. So make sure that's all on there. And then your bottle is, then you take this and you do not open it yet. And what you do is you just put it down over here where all the other bottles are. And so you do that every time somebody comes in. You take it, you put their name on it, you take the foil off the top, you wrap it up, you tape it up, and then you put all those wrapped up bottles in one place off to the side. All right. So don't open it yet, though. That's a key. And one thing that, for some reason, at least one time I opened the stupid bottle up ahead of time because I get all flustered because there's a million people coming in. All right, so once the bottles are all there, then they're all off to the side. Let's say they're all, you got probably, usually I have at least 15 bottles of wine all in one area. Because usually when you get a bottle and the first one that comes in, you put it to the back. What I like to do is I like to just take them and just randomly move them around. Now, I can't tell what's what now because I have no number on them, and they're all taped up. So I have no idea which one's which, and I kind of move them around. And then I actually kind of turn my head, and I have my buddy move them around a little bit because everybody thinks, well, you're moving them around, but you know which one's yours. Because, of course, I'm in the contest. I've only won once, by the way, out of like 10 times. So there's no fix in. So I have him move some stuff around just in case. Everybody thinks that I'm, trying to fix this thing. And then now they're all over the place. Now what you do is you take the big Sharpie and you start numbering them randomly, 1 through whatever. If there's 15 bottles, it's 1 through 15. And you number all the bottles. I like to number them twice, once here, and then I'll flip it over, like once here, just in case if it spills on there, or if it gets ruffled or something, it's hard to read the number. So I put it on, and big enough to where people can read it, even with the eyeglass stuff. So you put the numbers on, and then you open the bottles up. And this is where it's really great to have you and somebody else. If there's at least 2 people to open up the bottles, that makes it so much faster because you've got 15 or 20 bottles of wine you have to open up. So they're all wrapped, they're all taped, and they're all numbered, and they're randomly numbered, right? They're 1 through whatever. But I don't know what the hell the bottle is, and neither does anybody else. And now we're all opening them up, and we just keep them in the same area, and you open them all up. Then Now that you have them opened up, you take you and your buddy or whoever's helping you, and you get one more person at least if you have 3 stations, and you take the bottles, and if there are 16 bottles, you're going to do 4, 4, and 4 at the 3 different stations. Just split them up to where you have, enough bottles that, people will be able to hang out at each of the different stations for a few minutes, and then compare all of the different bottles at the stations and whatnot. So have it at least, split it up how you want it. And then you take some over, and so put the bottles out at the stations, and make sure at the stations there's, I usually don't put the water there. They can get their own, but I'll put the little thing of oyster crackers for palate cleansing. So if they want to, do so, because it's a lot of wine, and there's a lot of tasting going on, and it's really important to, and I gotta be honest with you, it's not like we're all a bunch of wine snobs or anything. We like what we like. It's probably the same as you, right? That's why we're doing, bottles under $20. But it does make a big difference if you get a chance to kind of refresh yourself, because there is so much. If you're tasting 16 bottles, it kind of blends into each other unless you take a little break and wash your mouth out or have some oyster crackers. So do that. Then after that's done, come back to where you were, and you're going to have all the 3x5 cards, and you're going to have all the pens, at least 1 pen per person, remember? So you hand out 1 3x5 card and 1 pen per person, have them put their name on it. And then on the front of the card, they're going to put the number. They're going to put the wine number, the bottle numbers. So if there's 15 bottles, they're going to put 1 through 15 on the front of the card. Okay, they're going to put it there. Then, now they have their card. Now they have their pen. The wine's set out. Make sure they all have a wine glass. I don't mark the wine glasses, because if you can't keep track of your own damn wine glass, then you shouldn't be at an adult party. Okay? I mean, some people put those little rings and shit on the bottom, but come on, really? So they all have their wine glasses, and then I'm like, okay, here we go. This is what you need to do. You go to each bottle of wine. If the bottle number is 7, you go there, you take a little taste, and you know what a taste is? A wine taste. Have you ever been to wine tasting before? If you have, when they pour, it's like an ounce, and an ounce in a wine glass is like right there, maybe, right? Because it's like 5. I think 5 ounces is about right there. So it's about 1 ounce is about right there, give or take, because that's all you need. I'm telling you. You think, oh, just an ounce, a little here and there stuff. You do that, and you go through like 15 bottles a couple times. Do the math on that. That's 30 ounces of wine. So you got to take it easy at the beginning. One guy, a friend of my daughter's was here. Valentine, if he's listening, I love it. He's a great guy, and it was his first wine party. And he's rolling through it, and it was probably the second or third glass that he had. And I'm looking over, and I see his pour, and his pour is like a 5-ounce pour. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He goes, oh, what? I go, okay, hold on a second. I'm sorry, I didn't explain it. First of all, he was super hammered to the part where people could have painted on his face at the end. The only reason people didn't is because I stopped doing it. And the second thing is that if you do take that much, there might not be enough wine left for everybody else. If you also do the math on the bottle, I think the bottles are 24 and a half or whatever. I totally forget. But if you have more than 20 or so people there, everybody has to. I mean, that's only like one time through, maybe. And I know that some of the popular wines, because sometimes you find out really soon how which ones people really like, they'll go back again, or they'll take a couple at the same time, and it'll run out. And I haven't had I haven't had it to where it's ran out before everybody's tried it, but it's run out like right after. So take small pours, and you just go to, if it's like wine number 7, you take a 1-ounce pour, you do your thing, you take your taste, and then you rank them. And you can rank them however you want. I rank 1 to 10, and then I write some small notes down. Especially if I like the wine, because what I want to do is at the end of the day, at the end of the party, I want to go back and find out if I really like number 7 and I gave it a 9.5, and I put down, it's got it. I think it's mellow, or it's full body, or whatever. However you want to explain how it tastes, vanilla notes, chocolate notes, whatever. If I really like it, I want to buy it, right? Because that's one of the points of doing this whole thing is discovering new wines in your price range, and 20 or under is everybody's price range. I don't care how much you make. So that's what I would do. And then I would make my notes and stuff, and then I would go and try the other one. And so I'm going all the way through 1 through 15. You just go and you make notes, you try it, you get some oyster crackers, and you're having a great time. And you roll through that, and you rate it. And then when you're done, when the people are done, you say, all right, if you're done, turn the card over to the blank side and put number 1, number 2, and number 3. and which one was your first place wine? Which one would you rank first? Which one would you rank second? Which one would you rank third? So if I like number 7 first, I like number 3 second, and I like number 14 third, that's what I would put on the back of the card. Remember, you got to have to put their name on the card. Then they would hand the card to me after they made their selections, or one first, second, and third place. I would collect all of the cards, and then I'm making notes here. I would collect all the cards, and then I have to score the cards. And the scoring is done by 2 people, just to make sure there's no funny business going on, or people are, trust the fact that you're doing it. So what I would do is I would have all of the cards, and to the side where it's the first, second, third, I'd have a buddy of mine read to me which one was first, which one was second, which one was third. I'd have a scorecard on the back of another 3x5, and I would just put wines 1 through 15. And every single time that he announced what the first place winner was, I would give it 3 points. 1, 2, 3. And then and second place would get 2 points, 1, 2, and then third place would get 1. And that's how I would go through and score all of the wines. Now, once the scoring's done, add it up, have my buddy add it up too, just to make sure we're on the same page. And then we take all of the wines and we add, because they're all going to have certain numbers of votes or points on the votes. And I'm take all those 15 wines and I'm going to line them up on the counter, usually in the order at which they won. So I'm going to put the first place, first and second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way down to 15, because actually it's kind of fun to reveal the last place bottle. It's a bit of rite of passage for a lot of people to find out that they got the last place, which I've not done yet. I got second to the last. And actually, short story, there was one wine, one contest that we put a ringer in. And remember I told you it was like up to $20 a bottle. We put a bottle in that was like $60, $70. I think it was a Zin party, but I can't recall. And it was it was supposed to be a top rated, Wine Spectator, blah, 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 $60, $65 bottle of wine, whatever, just to see how it would work. And it got second to the last. So go figure. And funny enough, we've actually had people come in with 2 of the same contest bottles. 2, exactly the same. Exact same year, exactly the same minute, just the same exact thing. And they scored differently. So go figure on that too. It's the weirdest thing, but it's so fun to see how that works. I mean, we had one that got third place and one that got almost last in one wine party. So it's so cool. I mean, why? I don't know. Who the hell knows why? All right, so we line up all the wine bottles once we score them and we have the winners, and then we just do the reveal. And make sure when you do the reveal, because you're going, okay, everybody, here it is, first place winner. And when you do the reveal, make sure you keep, because you're going to rip the paper off of the bottle. Try to kind of rip from the bottom so the number stays intact. So afterwards, you can keep the number on the bottle so people know which one it is when they come up to the counter later after all the reveal's done, and they can see which one they like and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I do. Then I go first, second, third, and then I do the rest, and then I'll do last place because it's always fun to do that. Then I say, okay, everybody, just thanks. For the winners come up, and everybody else, please finish the rest or have some appetizers. Just enjoy yourself. And usually it takes, if you start at 7 o'clock, you're done like by 9:30 maybe. Of all this, maybe not even that. I think we're probably 8:30 or 9 in some cases, with a bunch of drunks powering through the wine tasting. But that's what's so cool about it too, because it's not an all-nighter thing. It's a good part of time after dinner, and you get some light snacks, and you have your wine, and you enjoy yourselves, and you get home before 2 o'clock in the morning, because nothing good happens at 2 o'clock. So you do the reveal, and then when the first place comes up, the contest winners, the first place gets 60% of the prize bottles. So if you have, 10 prize bottles, if there's only 10 wines in the contest, you have 10 prize bottles, then they'll get 6 of the wine, and they get to choose first. So the first place winner gets 60% of the wine bottles. They get to choose first. They choose the 6. The second place winner gets up and gets to choose 3 at 30%. So they'll choose 3 bottles, whatever they want, and then the third place winner will get the remaining prize bottle. So they all get at least even the third place gets at least a bottle back, and that's how it is. And that's the wine party in a nutshell. It is a blast. It is so much fun. The advantages of the party outside or even more so than what I've already talked about in terms of it being just a fucking blast. There's never a dull moment at all. Some parties you get there, and especially if you have people that don't, you've got different worlds colliding and nobody, you think that they know them because you know them both, but they don't. And then there's an issue where somebody might be sitting there just, twiddling their thumbs because they don't have anybody to talk to, blah, blah, blah. This thing is engaging, and everybody's focused on the wine, and they love comparing notes. Everybody compares notes. Oh, this and this. I mean, instant stranger, icebreaker. Because they're all at different stations, and they're all talking to each other and bouncing around, and then you get a couple full glasses of wine in you after about halfway through the tasting. It loosens up a little bit. Everybody gets a little more chatty. It is an absolute blast. There has never been a bad wine party, like ever, that I've thrown or that I've been to. They've all been so much fun. The second advantage of the party is it exposes you to a lot of wine that you may not have drank before. And if you're like me, you can go to the Bev Mo's, or you can go to all the big wine. But there's Lee's Discount out in Vegas. I don't know if I think that's right. But someplace like that, big wine warehouses, or even to the store, or even to Costco. And you look around and you think, well, this wine's, $15 or something, but is it any good? I don't know. I mean, Wine Spectator says it's a 91, but who gives a shit about that? I've had plenty of wine that's rated at 93 that I didn't like at all. So that way, without having you buy some random wine off of the shelf, you can try all these different wines for the price of just, your prize bottle, basically, which is, 10, 15, $20. I would suggest staying in the $15 range, actually. The third, and I'll tell you why in a second, the third advantage of it is you get a kick-ass buzz. It's a good buzz. And, it's nice food, it's good conversation, it's good stuff. The last thing I want to say about, and I really hope you try this, because it's really easy to put together. It's a bunch of fun. Everybody has the best time, and it's really no nonsense. You don't have to, go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff. You don't have to do you really don't. You just get a bunch of people together. It doesn't have to be super dress up, and you just have a bunch of fun, and everybody's home by 11. I mean, is that like a win-win? Now, the little trick is this, I'm going to tell you, which is fascinating to me. Remember I told you about the Ringer wine that got second to the last? Out of the 10 or so parties that I've done or organized or been to, most of the time the winners are like the $9 bottles. I think Little Black Dress won one year. There was there was another one that was so bad. What's the one with a rooster on it? I can't remember. It's just not good. This is just, if you look at it, you're like, that's the bottom. I always call it the bottom shelf wine, because if you go into the store, those are the ones down there, the $7.99ers or the $6.99s, the one on the the Mark Wests of the world. By the way, not a fan. But down there on the very bottom shelf. But I'm telling you, a lot of times those ones end up being the winner, because the thing that I've noticed is that, especially with people that come to these parties, because myself, as well as most other people that come to these, we're not wine experts. We just like what we like, and we like something that tastes good, and we like something that finishes well, and is not bitter, it doesn't have to be super complex. We're not Psalms. And even if you have to look at it in context, right? This is just a party, and there's 15 other wines. Probably 6 or 7 or 8 of them are like $7 wines. So it's gonna be a big mix. So I would suggest, if you have something that you like that has a lot of good flavor and fruit forward too, I would suggest, because most of the time the wines that win are the fruit forward wines, not the complicated oaky, all that earthy oaky wines. Just to give you a heads up on that. For the reds, the whites, and the reason why, again, now I'm going to bring back the reason why I don't do whites is if you refrigerate them or try to stick the paper will dissolve. So I'm thinking you could probably get some plastic bag over it and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not a white wine drinker, so I don't want to go through the hassle of doing that. I would rather just do reds and keep doing them and have fun with them. So that's why I do that. If you want to do whites, you can certainly do that. We actually tried to do a Scotch party as well, but we got super hammered. And we only tasted like 5 or 6 of the Scotches. So and a lot of times there's a lot of people that don't particularly go for the dark alcohol, and wine is more universally liked. So it seems to be. And there's typically at least 1 or 2 people there that don't even drink wine. They just drink beer. I always have a 6 or 12 pack of something decent in the fridge, and so they can kind of hang out and do their thing while they drive their drunk spouse home later on. So that's the wine party. I'm going to post all this information. I'm going to list it out on the YouTube video. I will list it out, and then I'll put it in the show notes. But try it. People will have the best time, and they'll be fired up for it. You just have to give them a few weeks notice. And if you want to do it over this December, it's great up until you got like 2 weeks. You got a 2-week window. So if you jump on this now and it sounds really cool and you get a few of your friends together and you guys kind of want to work this together, do it like next week or like really close to it, because once it gets towards the middle of December, you're kind of screwed until like February. But I have found that springtime and kind of around the October-ish, those are kind of the best times to do it because more people are around and they're available to do it. A lot of times when you get close to the holidays, again, people are traveling, and so they won't be around. So I hope that works for you. I had fun sharing this. We're going to do one again probably in February. We couldn't get around to it this holiday season, but we're going to do one like as the new year comes around. So hope things are good. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions on this, get back to me at tony@javabud.com. Remember, this is on YouTube, and it's also on iTunes and Stitcher and SoundCloud. And you can, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, get a hold of me. And you can always go to javabud.com too to listen to anything else that I have. You can go to YouTube to see any of the videos. And my stuff is just there to help you. I'm not pitching anything. I'm working on an online course, but that's not what we're doing here. All I'm doing is sharing and trying to create some value for you. So I hope things are good, and I will talk to you soon.